This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Liam Beefy Smith over Zoom. Liam, it's only been a couple of weeks since we last spoke, but how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Good. Self.
I'm all good. I'm all good. Before we come on to the boxing talk, I'm sure you'll be tuning in on Sunday to watch the England game.
Yeah, I will, mate. Yeah, obviously, I think everyone will be, won't they? I think it's a massive game. It's a massive, achievement, really. I think them getting the final, I don't think it was expected, obviously, with the Southgate situation and all that, but it's a big game, and it's a game I think they can win, especially in a final at Wembley with a crowd.
Is it coming home?
I hope so, mate. I'd like to think so, and obviously wishful thinking. So, I think it can. A final, I think England can definitely win it.
Liam, obviously coming on to the boxing talk, onto yourself. I'm sure you're aware Tim Tszyu fought the other night, was successful with an early stoppage victory before he went on to call out yourself, which we'll come on to. Just get your thoughts on his performance and his win.
I've been dead honest with you. I've only seen the stoppage that round 3. I was told, to be honest, he got it with everything first. But I wouldn't judge him on that part. I think he fought at blown up like welterweight, and probably just thought I'll walk through any he lands, and he got messed about fight week with the Michael Zarafa things. So I wouldn't judge him on it. But a win's a win, and he moves on, and by all accounts he seems to be moving on to me and a couple of others he mentioned.
Let's come on to that now. As you say, he mentioned yourself amongst others. A fight you're interested in, Liam?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I think you've known me long enough now. And I said with the Kabanov fight, obviously, I can take losing, and I can take, I can even sleep at night knowing, I won the fight, but he didn't give it to me. But the main thing that I was devastated about was what come next, and what should have come next was a final eliminator with Tim Tszyu for a world title. And that's what I've openly said I was more devastated about, because the WBO would have ordered that for purse bids. And, I thought it cost me that fight. But, even now that fight's back on the table, I think the loss to Kabanov kind of gives me, pulling power with money, with the fight happening in the UK. I think if I beat Kabanov and the WBO awards the fight, it would have given maybe Eddie a chance to win it, the purse bids, and bring Tim Tszyu over here. If they won the purse bid to go over there, I probably would have been well paid. But now I've kind of got to negotiate an offer for the fight. I lose me pulling power, so to speak, because all being said, I'm coming off the back of a loss.
Have you had any initial conversations with the team about trying to make that fight, Liam?
Yeah, to be honest with you, mate, I think my managing team, MTK, in the middle of discussing it now, and obviously I'll leave it down to them and whoever else is involved in the talks. I don't know, if there's a deal there to be made, I'm sure it'll be made. And from my point of view, I think no questions should be asked of my, of whether I'd fight him or would I not fight him, or whether I'd go to Australia to fight him, or I'll fight him tomorrow, and I'd fly to Australia tomorrow, as long as the deal was right. What me team's done, and obviously Tim fought Wednesday. Okay, now me social media went mad, whether it was to do with them mentioning me, whether it was to do with people saying, take the fight, pussy, and I was like, are you serious? Like, how can that be mentioned towards myself? Like, would I go to Australia? Of course I would. I've just been to Russia, I've been to Mexico, the States. Put a fight to me. If it makes sense for me, I'll go. And that's exactly the same with Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu's no one different. He's no great shakes. He's no one I fear. He's no one I'm scared of. So, if it makes sense for me and my career, then fire away. I'll be on the next flight there.
What's been your thoughts on Tim Tszyu as a fighter, as he's developed, Liam? He's been very impressive, but I think it has hit that point where people after Wednesday have said he needs to face a more established name.
Of course, and I think, obviously, what you just said, developed. I think he's developing very, very well, and I think he will develop to be a good fighter. And I've said that on record beforehand. I think they've matched him perfectly. You know, I think his career's gone and his opposition's gone the same way. But that being said, you know, who's his best win? Probably was Dennis Hogan's his best win. And by all accounts, it looks like Dennis Hogan might retire after it. So, you know, I think a fight with the ones mentioned will answer a lot of questions on Tim Tszyu's part. You know, if he beats me, they'll say he's ready to push on. If he doesn't beat me, then he's not ready. But I think he will end up a good fighter. I do think now put somebody okay in front of him, and you know he's shown he's not hard to hit. I think you'll get a few different answers on Tim Tszyu.
Let's talk about a fight between the pair of you then. Let's say it could get over the line, the pair of you were to meet. What should the fans be in store for if that was the case, Liam, if a pair of you were opposite each other in the ring?
I said in a conversation the other day, and I don't mean it, I say I'm not trying to sell a fight to you, Andy. I think it'd be an unbelievable fight because he you know, he likes to be, you know, by all accounts, the other day he tried to make a statement, you know, just he had thingy week, but he's aggressive and he looks to try and finish people. And you know, obviously, I always, you know, come to fight and he will not have to go looking for me. And that's what I said. But like the Kabanov thing ended up a good fight, but he's very negative in a style what he's got, Kabanov, you know, that shell type defense and the shoulder roll stuff where, you know, he, by all accounts, Tim will try and come looking for me, but he's not going to have to look far. It's not like I'm going to back foot and go away from him. So I do think it's a very, very good fight. And obviously, I think they think that as well, because you know they wouldn't be mentioning my name otherwise. You know, like I say, I'm coming off the back of a loss, but I think they know it's a great fight and it's a great it's a good name for Tim Tszyu, and it does probably put himself on the scene that he's ready to challenge if he beats me.
Liam, what were your thoughts when you heard that he'd called you out? Were you surprised? Were you expecting it?
To be honest, you know, expecting it. He needs that name. He needs that push. He needs that. And again, it's what I said the other day. Nobody's getting a world title fight. I don't want to talk about Jessie Vargas again because it's fucking boring and he's boring. But you know, it was the same. When I was trying to make that fight. You're not getting a world title fight next. We know where the world titles are. We know the tide's up, and we know what's gonna, you know, maybe happen in the future. Give it 8 to 10 months, the world titles might become vacant or they might become available. But for the time being, all 4 belts are tied up, so you're not getting a world title fight anytime soon. Give Tim Tszyu and you know his promoters the due. They're keeping them very active, and I said back about Jaime Munguia, that's why I liked him, because you know he was just staying active. He was keeping the belt active, fighting every so often. And you know, I'll say it about Tim Tszyu, they're staying active. Okay, if they're number 1 in the WBO now, they're not sitting and waiting for the shot. They're staying active, and he's young enough where he should be kept active. So I applaud that, but in the same sense, I totally welcome it. You know, I'll welcome it if you put an offer on the table to me. If it makes sense for me, again, where do I sign and what flight am I on?
I know you said you don't want to talk about Jessie Vargas, but I remember a couple of days after we spoke, again, just a couple of exchanges between the pair of you over social media. Have you had any kind of direct messages with him at all since then?
Yeah, I did, and you know, I asked him. Look, I'll be dead honest with you. It's no fault of mine why the fight hasn't been made. I begged Eddie for the fight. I've also begged Eddie that I'll take less money to bring him to Liverpool October the 9th. But the bottom line is Jessie Vargas is on too much money, and that's it. The fight doesn't justify the money while we're going through a pandemic. I said I'd take less, but still Jessie won't take less. So the fight seems to be dead in the water. You know, he's again the same situation with Jessie. He's not getting a world title fight, and my point of view was, who are you going to get better than me to justify Jessie's money? I can't see nobody at the moment. You know, I was told a Jared Hurd type, but Jared Hurd's just lost also. So, you know, that fight for me at the moment seems dead in the water. But again, I'm in a very good position now. I was in the Who Wants Some club. I was out the ring for 17 months. I fought Kabanov. Now all of a sudden, you know, I've got 6, 7 options on the table. And again, I'm not I'm in a position now. That's what I'm saying with the Tszyu one. I'm not selling myself short this time. You know, if it makes sense, I'll fly there tomorrow. If it doesn't make sense, I'll fight here. I've got other options now, whereas with the Kurbanov one, I didn't really have many options.
And then moving forwards, Liam, as you mentioned, you've got the Charlo and Castano fight. You mentioned it earlier on for the undisputed bout. Just get your thoughts on it. That is next weekend.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I think people shouldn't really sleep too much on Castano. He's a good fighter. Could be very exciting. It will always be exciting when he's in, to be honest with you, because of his work rate and his aggression. He has to have that style because of his height. But, you know, obviously Charlo's a very good fighter, and he's proven now, and he's established that himself as the number one, 154. So I think it's a very good fight, but obviously I'd probably edge towards Charlo, but in a good fight, a better fight than what people think.
And then just final thing, just to get your thoughts on. Obviously, we saw the news today that Purewal 3 seems to be off now, at least postponed until October. They're looking at. Just get your thoughts to that news.
What is it? Someone in Fury's camp?
So just a COVID outbreak within Tyson Fury's camp.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we'll probably hear more over the next coming days and weeks. You don't know whether it could be, it could be a thing where they might need more build up for it to sell more. I think, I've spoke to a lot of people who are not interested in it, and I mean that as crazy as it is. People think Fury's just got Wilder's number. People didn't want to see the third fight, and it's a shame. But I've spoke to a lot of people who are not asked about the fight at all. So you don't know whether it's the same in the States and it's not, or don't know. But we might find out a bit more in the next few days. But I say I'm a little bit gutted it's off, because I wouldn't mind Fury getting rid of Wilder, and then obviously Joshua, and then the meeting, because that's the fight everybody wants to see. And with it not happening now, I'm more to the side that I don't think it'll ever happen. All
right, Liam, we will leave that there now, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. I appreciate your time speaking to me tonight. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the game as well on Sunday. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Nice one.